Planet Earth. The shiny blue marble that has fascinated humanity since they first began to walk across its surface, and being a home in the place where life, as we know, was originated. It remains the only planet we know of where life thrives. Over the course of the past few centuries, we have learned a lot about Earth, which has deepened our fascination about the blue planet. We've lived on the planet Earth all of our life, but how much do we really know about the ground underneath our feet? You probably have lots of interesting facts rattling around in your brain, but here are 10 top interesting facts about Earth that you may or may not know. Number 1. Tectonics plate keep the planet comfortable. It is an important fact that the Earth is the only planet in the solar system which has tectonic plates. Tectonic plates are basically the outer crust of the planet, broken into regions. These plates float on the top the magma interior of the Earth, and they can move against one another. When two plates collide, one plate will go underneath another, and where they pull apart, they will allow fresh crust to form. The process of tectonic collision is very important for the Earth, as it lead to tectonic resurfacing and geological activity like earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and mountain building. It is also essential for ocean trench formation and carbon cycle. When microscopic plants in the ocean die, they fall to the bottom of the ocean. Over a long period of time, the remnants of this life, which is rich in carbon, are carried back into the interior of the Earth and recycled. This process pulls carbon out of the atmosphere, and it makes sure that we don't suffer of runaway greenhouse effect, like the planet Venus. Without tectonic plates, there would be no way to recycle the carbon elements in the Earth, and the Earth would become an overheated place to live. Number 2. Earth is almost a sphere. Since 6th century BCE to the modern era, this remained a scientific consensus that, whether Earth is a sphere or a flat planet. But with the help of modern astronomy and space travel, we are now aware that the Earth is spherical in shape. But the Earth is not a perfect sphere. Rather, it is an oblate spheroid because of its diurnal rotation. Our planet Earth is slightly flattened at its polar ends and bulged out at the equators. This shape is similar to a sphere, but with flattened poles and the bulged equators. The measurement from pole to pole is about 43 kilometers less than the diameter of Earth across the equator. Number 3. Earth is mostly iron, oxygen and silicon. Earth's crust is composed of igneous, metamorphic and sedimentary rocks, which we can find in mud and clay, to diamond and coal. By the cooling of magma, igneous rocks are formed, which are the most abundant rocks in the crust like granite and basalt. If we could separate the Earth out into piles of material, we would get 32.1% of iron, 30.1% of oxygen, 15.1% of silicon, and 13.9% of magnesium. Most of this iron is actually located at the core of the Earth. If we could actually get down and sample the core, it would be 88% of the iron. And if we sampled the Earth's crust, we would find that 47% of it is oxygen. Number 4. 70% of the Earth's surface is covered in water. When astronauts first went into space, they looked back at the Earth with human eyes for the first time. Based on their observations, the Earth acquired the name the Blue Planet. And it's no surprise that 70% of our planet is covered with oceans. The remaining 30% is the solid crust, which is located above sea level. Hence we called it the continental crust. Number 5. The atmosphere extends to a distance of 10,000 kilometers. Earth's atmosphere is very thick within the first 50 kilometers from the surface, but it actually reaches out to about 10,000 kilometers into space. The atmosphere is made up of 5 main layers: the troposphere, the stratosphere, the mesosphere, the thermosphere, and the exosphere. As a matter of fact, it is known that when we go higher and higher, the air pressure and density of the atmosphere decrease from the surface air. The bulk of the Earth's atmosphere is found near the Earth itself. In fact, 75% of the Earth's atmosphere is contained within the first 11 kilometers above the planet's surface. The exosphere extends from the exobase, located at the top of the thermosphere at an altitude of about 700 kilometers above sea level, to about 10,000 kilometers. The exosphere merges with the emptiness of outer space, where there is no atmosphere. Number 6. Molten iron core of the Earth creates a magnetic field. The Earth is like a great big magnet, with poles at the top and bottom near the actual geographic poles. The magnetic field it creates extends thousands of kilometers out from the surface of the Earth, forming a region called the magnetosphere. Scientists think that this magnetic field is generated by the molten outer core of the Earth, where heat creates convection motions of conducting materials to generate electric currents. Without a magnetosphere, particles from the sun's solar wind would hit the Earth directly, which will expose the surface of the planet to significant amounts of radiation. The magnetosphere channels the solar wind around the Earth and protects us from harm. Scientists have also theorized that Mars has a thinner atmosphere than the Earth because it has a weak magnetosphere in comparison to the Earth. Number 7. Earth don't take 24 hours to rotate on its axis. In general, we know that the Earth takes 24 hours to rotate on its axis. But it is not true. It actually takes 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds for the Earth to rotate completely on its axis, which astronomers refer to as a sidereal day. It doesn't mean that a day is 4 minutes shorter than we think. The Earth orbits around the Sun and the Sun moves in compared to the background stars by about 1 degree the size of the Moon. If you add up that little motion from the Sun that we see because the Earth is orbiting around it, as well as the rotation on its axis, you get a total of 24 hours. This is what is known as a solar day, which contrary to a sidereal day. Number 8. A year on Earth isn't 365 days. The time Earth takes to rotate completely around the Sun is called a year. But usually, we take 365 days a year. But the actual time the Earth takes to rotate around the Sun is 365.2564 days. The extra 0.2564 days creates the need for a leap year once every 4 years. That is why we take on an extra day in February after every 4 years. Number 9. Earth has one moon and 2 co-orbital satellites. The Moon rotates around the Earth and it is responsible for various activities on the Earth. Our planet Earth has one moon. But some other planet has more than one moon. Saturn has 82 moons whereas Jupiter has 79 moons. The Moon is responsible for holding the Earth on its axis. It is the pull of the Moon's gravity that holds the Earth in its place. High tides and low tides in our water bodies are caused by the Moon. The Moon's gravitational pull generates tidal force, which bulges out the water bodies of the Earth. The bulges of water create high tides and low tides. In addition to the Moon, scientists have found 2 asteroids which have a co-orbital orbit with the Earth. They are called 3753 Carte and 2002 R29. These asteroids are part of a large population of asteroids known as near-Earth objects or NEOs. The asteroid, which is known as 3753 Carte, measures 5 kilometers across, and it is sometimes called Earth's second moon. It doesn't actually orbit the Earth but has a synchronized orbit with Earth. 3753 Carte has an orbit that looks like it is following the Earth in orbit, but it actually follows its own, distinct path around the Sun. Number 10. Earth is the only planet known to have life. We've discovered past evidence of water and organic molecules on Mars and the building blocks of life on Saturn's moon Titan. We can see amino acids in nebulae in deep space, and ND scientists have speculated about the possible existence of life beneath the icy crust of Jupiter's moon Europa and Saturn's moon Titan. But Earth is the only place where life has actually been discovered. If there is life on other planets, scientists are building experiments that will help us to find it. NASA has recently announced that the data sent back by the Kepler Space Telescope and other space missions will be examined in the Nexus for Exoplanet System Science, which is also called as NEX. The examinations will help us to know more about signs of life on an extrasolar planet. Hope the video was informative. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon for more related videos.